Ah, perfect. Hello, hello,
Hi.
hello.
Hello.
Good to see you, Eurovoxx here. My name is Dominic, and I'm joined by Jana, who's also from Germany, and also Tran from the Netherlands. And wait, I got this. Oh God, no, it's too complicated. Harry from the UK.
Hello.
Hey, how are you guys, first of all?
In
I'm good.
shock.
I'm good.
Shocked.
Okay, that's good. So I'm not the only one because I was like, good, perfect. So, who wants to give us the news? Jana, last time you did it, you should do it again. Who
Yeah.
qualified?
So we have Eline, we have Skrellex, and Atle, who qualified for the final.
Exactly, and that means we got all the 9 qualifiers for MGP. It's so exciting because next week it's going to be the final already. So I think we should start with the first qualifier who has been announced after 3 acts were eliminated, which was very rough.
Easy.
Yeah, so Eline Thorp with the song Not Meant to Be Qualified. Twan, first reaction.
This was a shock, especially after hearing that Maria Celin didn't qualify. It was a huge shock. We were like, when Maria Celin was announced, we were like, oh, she's a sure safe qualifier. And then she was like, no. And then Eline was announced, and they were like, oh, yeah, she's through. And she ended
Yeah.
up being through. I like the song, to be honest. I didn't like the staging. I don't think the staging fit the song. The song was really good, in my opinion. Her vocals were good as well. So I'm really happy that she made it. And I'm really happy for her because she genuinely looked super shocked.
She was so surprised as we all were like, okay, they're not gonna kick out 3 acts in a row, especially not the third one, which was one of the favorites, and they did. And then she was like, oh, what just happened? I mean, Emily, maybe let's show one of the comments, feels the same because it's like they picked like the last 3, at least for Emily. I don't know. It was surprising. It was so hard to predict. Harry, what was your first reaction to it?
Many reactions went through my head around that time, but with
Give me all of them.
specifically with Eline Thorpe. I like the song. I think it's a musically quality song, Eline Thorpe's, and the performance is one that would be perfect for a concert. It has that sort of not home, but like familiar feel vibe. My problem with it doesn't stand out in a national final or a Eurovision capacity. I think Eline herself is a very good performer. She sold the song very well,
Mhm.
but I'm shocked that this is through. I like the song, but it was personally one that after seeing the performance, it was one I wrote out as not qualifying. But happy that she's in the final, and I'll be interested to see, especially with juries, how this gets on.
Yeah, good point. Keep in mind that this was a 100% televote or basically like the app voting. So no juries here, but there will be juries in the final. Jana, what is your first reaction?
Well, I have to admit it was my last place, so I was really a bit shocked that I qualified. The song is not really appealing to me. It reminds me of the 2010s, like Lena when she was winning with Satellite. I also think the voice is really similar, but maybe that's also why she qualified because I mean, Satellite was super famous and it's just an easygoing song. And I also really like the band on stage. Like, I think that was my favorite, but the song itself, I don't know.
Okay. Before I give my opinion to it, let's say hello to Helen. Hey,
Hello.
nice to see you. Also hi to Klaus, who is multitasking because he's gonna watch the Lithuanian national final at the moment. And yeah, so I would say I was surprised as well. It was it my last? It was kind of in the bottom for me as well, and not because of her, as Harry already said. I think she's a very good performer. She sold it very well, and I think the staging was fine. I like the fact that there were 2 drummers on stage because usually there's just one. And honestly, I had the song before, and I wasn't really um, about like thinking, oh, there must be drummers on stage because the drums aren't that dominant in the song. But there were 2. Maybe in other songs they should have been a drummer, but we will come to that
If only
later.
there was a song that literally has the word drums in the lyrics.
I was about to say.
Exactly. Yeah, some teasing here already, but we will come to that. Yeah, don't worry. Okay. So I liked her outfit. I liked her attitude. I was happy for her, especially because of her genuine reaction. She was very surprised. So very good for her. And again, it's MGP. No one is safe. That
Her
really shows,
reaction,
yeah.
her reaction reminded me of Gustav winning Eurosong. He
Oh,
was
yes.
as shocked as she was. So that gave me
Yeah.
a little bit of flashback.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the second qualifier for the final was a famous space because he was already in MGP before as a pre-qualifier when there were actually pre-qualifiers. At Atle Pettersen with the song Masterpiece, who performed last. So maybe go the other way around. Jana, what was your reaction to that?
I think the staging was really cool. I really liked the lightning, like the lasers around. That looked
Yeah.
so cool. It was really modern. And it was super interesting because it started as a ballad, but then turned into a pop song. I didn't expect that because I wasn't listening to the song before. So I think that was pretty cool.
Harry?
Yeah, one way to my heart when it comes to performances is a gorgeous light display, and Atle had that definitely. Song-wise, this isn't for me. I think it's my last place in this heat. I much prefer his effort in 2020. It just had a much more catchier hook. But in terms of the actual performance and what people are voting for on the night, once you see the light display, it's the most professional thing that we had tonight, and I think that's why people gravitated towards it and put it through to the final.
Okay, Tron, what's your opinion?
Honestly, I love this. I already loved it from the first moment that I heard the song. And the staging was really beautiful, as Jana said, with the lasers and everything. It kind of gave me like Northern Lights vibes, like not the same colors, but it gave me the same vibes. So this was my favorite of the seat. And just putting out a prediction there, I think he can win MGP. I think it's possible.
You heard it here first. Okay.
I think it's possible.
Okay, so we've got a comment from Celin. It's like One Direction would come back together, and this
I can
would
see
be like
that.
the first single. Yeah, I agree with that. And also, like, hello, Georgios, who was saying that it was a solid performance. Not a favorite to win for him, but well, he qualified, so I think he is on a very good track. By the way, Stuart is watching. Hi.
Hello.
And definitely agree on that comment. It was a bloodbath because it was so unpredictable. I already had a struggle to identify like 3 qualifiers or like predicted qualifiers, and I think I got like honestly none of them right, but that's okay. Like out of 7, I got 0 right. But I mean that's Eurovision. So I think the staging was amazing. It was very effective because it was black in the beginning and they were doing like this Vincent Bueno thing, like only him on stage in the center and then playing with some light. And then the neon lights were kicking in. I loved that. Even though I must say it was like the whole time and lost some effect at some point for me. Maybe they should have had some levels in it, but that's only a minor thing. His voice is amazing as always. He was very touched because in the end I thought, or I think he was actually crying, wasn't he? So
He was.
yeah, so that definitely meant a lot for him. I must say though, it was kind of forgettable, the song. So it's not like I could remember the song immediately. I must admit I can't. So maybe that's not the best sign, at least for me. Anyway, if there's nothing for that, where we go to this comment, Little John UK says that Atle Pettersen and Eline Thorp were the best songs. So in your opinion, the best songs have qualified. Good for you. The third and last qualifier was Skrellex with the song Love Again, who performed third. So Tran, what was your first reaction? I want a quote from you, and let's go.
What was my quote? I think I said something. Oh, that was
Enough quote.
we were already in the call, and when Skrellex qualified, I kind of somewhat screamed. And my mother actually sent me a message because I'm upstairs and my parents are downstairs. She sent me a message. So let's say I was very happy because I loved this performance, and I actually gave this my vote because she was my second place. And even though she was my second place, I voted for her because I thought she needed it more than Atle, because I thought Atle was a kind of sure qualifier. So I'm super happy that she made it through and think it's very deserved because what a show she put on. Like,
yeah, like look at her. So Skrellex qualified. We are talking about her at the moment. Eline Thorp has qualified, and Atle Pettersen. These are the last 3 qualifiers for MGP. So, Harry, what was your first reaction to the song and the performance?
Now, when the
So
song was
curious for
released,
this opinion. Let's go.
all right. You know what? It's not my favorite of the heat. I do like it, but there are song-wise, I prefer others. However, the second I heard this, as much as I've got other predictions wrong for this heat, I knew straight away this was qualifying. Because unlike other songs, which are they don't necessarily immediately tell you how to feel when listening to a song, Skrellex doesn't beat around the bush. You know the emotion you are meant to feel when you are watching this, when you're listening to this. You're just meant to have fun for 3 minutes. It's pure Eurovision 2000s camp in a televote-only heat. This was obviously going to qualify. It's great fun. Will it win? Sorry, Twan, of course not. It is not going to win with juries in the final. But yeah, it was amazing to see live. And yeah, very happy this qualified.
Okay, so Jess is very happy about it. Like, so much fun watching Skrellex, and I totally agree with that. And also, he was saying that the prediction of her qualifying was correct, even though it was the least favorite. Seeing the live performance was like an elevation, and I suggest, or I predict, like that was the case for a lot of people, that the show and the whole performance got the act through. So Jana, what do you think about it?
I totally agree with Harry. I mean, this was so entertaining to watch, probably the most entertaining performance this night. I loved every second of it. It reminds me of Europop, Euro club bangers. They were played at Euro clubs. It reminded me of Love, Love, Peace, Peace sometimes as well. And I don't know if you noticed, but in the end, they used the Anti-Crisis Bomb, Be My Valentine choreo. I loved that. That was so iconic. Oh my God. The only thing I didn't really like was like the frame in the beginning. That was a bit weird. I don't know. And sometimes the verses felt a bit flat, but apart from that, I really loved it. So good.
Yeah, I agree with you. The beginning was a bit too much because everything is in glitter anyway. So what's the point about this filter? Like the dress, even the microphone, the backing dancers.
There's never too much glitter. There's never too much
glitter. Do you
What would
want?
make you say
Yes.
that one? What would make you say that at this particular moment?
There was glitter involved in here. Oh wow! So let us on. Skrellex's fun dance and walk down the street music. Depending on which street, I would say. Who's the guy behind Skrellex? Do you know the real name of this drag queen? I mean, you were able to see it in the postcard because Skrellex was out of drag here, like dressing up with her mom, with his mom, which was very, very nice to see. But I don't know the name. You need to look that up for yourself, I'm afraid. Also, yeah, these are the qualifiers for the ones who have just joined in. Yeah, and so Helen was like, I'm sure a miracle will save Skrellex. Well, it's in the final now, so we will see. And maybe Harry is wrong on that as well.
It's not going to win.
Okay, so you want to bet now. I see. Okay.
I will happily take a bet that Skrellex, as much as I love it, will not win.
We'll talk about that on this live stream.
Remember, it's still MGP though. It's MGP.
With juries. With juries.
That's true.
Yeah, true. Okay, so Petter's a bit like disappointed because the first, second, and third places were out, and only like his fourth, fifth, and sixth place.
Oh, I'm sorry for
in the final. Yeah,
same.
That's
I know the feeling. I know the feeling.
But wow, this is a nice transition to the non-qualifiers. So first we had like the big shock. Yes, it happened. One of the fan favorites. And I was talking to Twan before. I was saying like, okay, I can already hear the mourning and the disappointment of the fan bubble. Like, no, Freya didn't qualify. What happened there? Well, it happened. Apparently, Maria Celin is not in the final, and she was considered as one of the favorites for the whole show, not just for the semi-final. So let's go for to her at first. So I think the song was the strongest in my opinion, but I can see why it didn't qualify. Because first of all, the staging was barely existing. It was just fog on the ground, and like, was it a tree? In the beginning, I wasn't even sure what it was. At first, I thought it were backing dances, and then I was like, well, they're very
was burning
different. Yeah, exactly. And then I was like,
A lot of hands.
probably not this time. And she was basically just standing there and singing. So it was kind of stiff. Also about her vocals, I must say, I mean, it sounded okay, but she was relying on the backings quite a lot. And that was a bit disappointing for me, even though, again, the song was probably the strongest of the night. And I'm always a fan of, especially when it's not the final, but just semi-final, maybe push the best strong through and then let her improve in the final. And then if she's haven't improved or like got her peak moment in the final, then she shouldn't win. But at least give her a second try. At least that would have been my solution for this. Anyway, Tran, what was your first reaction?
I was kind of surprised because, in my opinion, I agree. It was the best song of the selection, like song-wise, without the performance. But honestly, seeing the performance, I can see why she didn't qualify because I was very disappointed with the performance. When I first heard the song, I was obsessed. Well, I'll be honest. When I first heard the song, I was like, When I listened a couple of more times, I slowly got obsessed. And it's one of my most listened songs of MGP, at least this heat right now. But the staging, I just can't get behind. You have a song that mentions drums, and you don't have drums. And you make a sound that goes pa-dum-pam-pam, and you don't have the drums on stage. I don't get why you wouldn't have that. I did think the tree was very cool, though. And it just looked a bit empty.
Yeah, so we have some agreement here. Like it is a Saturday night show, and most of the watchers, even in Norway, are not like us, like listening to the songs all the time beforehand and analyzing every single piece of it. So they were just like watching it and then not as sold by the performance, and then just didn't vote for her. Or maybe others were so sure about her qualification that they voted for someone else. Maybe that was happened here. Harry, what was your take on that?
So my take was after I listened to this performance and watched it, I had a whole planned thing that I was going to say about how, you know what, there's elements there which are great. She just needs to build up on stuff, and this is definitely going to the final, and it will all be improved. And then she didn't qualify, and that all went out the window. So with this entry, song-wise, it's my favorite of this heat. Not an unpopular opinion. But for me, when I watched this performance, it reminded me a bit of Elsie Bay's first performance last year when she was already through to the final, but was performing in Heat 1, I believe it was. There was a lot of elements that were core elements that were there for Elsie Bay, but she needed to work on her confidence, her delivery, and just bring more together and bring more people in. That was how I felt with Maria. She lacked confidence near the start, which, I mean, for someone that works at like a shop during the day to come on MGP, it's no easy task, as much as she has been on The Voice before. So it's commendable how she's even got this far. But even then, with Maria, she, in my opinion, got the confidence by the end. She sounded a lot better as the song went on. And yeah, we needed drums or something, not even just for like the symbolism of drums, but just to add a few more camera cuts in, add a bit more diversity, make sure, and the camera isn't always have to be on Maria. But yeah, in terms of the song quality for me was more than enough to get this through. And I think this could have been spectacular. Give it one more week to improve on everything. For me, it's a real shame that this has been left behind.
Okay, this isn't just a theory, but in the old system, like last year, there were half the finalists were pre-qualified, and I would say this would have been a pre-qualifier, and then she might have had this performance in the semifinal just to show her song, then maybe take all the input, and then improved it for the final. But hey, Maria, you took the wrong year, I guess. So maybe just go to the comment before we go to Jana. So Georgios is saying, like, the song is great, as we all agree on, but the staging and the vocals have to be there too. Yes, everything needs to be top notch. I must say about the song, I prefer the verses over the chorus, which is strange, but I think the chorus is a bit repetitive, too much Freya. Anyhow, Jana.
Yeah, I agree with all of you. I mean, when I was listening to the snippet, I was like, oh my God, this screams winner. Oh my God. And then I was listening to the full song. I was like, okay, it's still good. I mean, I prefer the snippet somehow, but the song was still good. Tonight, I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I'm not even sure if she's gonna qualify.
That's
I
it.
mean, I still love the song. The song is amazing, especially in the studio version. I also like the staging in the beginning, actually. It was like really Nordic. It was cold, it was dark. I was like, okay, let's see where this is getting. But it was getting nowhere. That was my
Yeah.
problem. So it was really stiff, as people already said, and she was not moving. I was really bothered by that because it didn't feel powerful because of that. She was just standing there. She didn't do anything. And I also think she needed like at least 2 backing dancers, maybe, or as Tron said, drummers, like at least one of them that makes it a bit more livable. I don't know. I mean, it was not really alive on stage. That was my problem. So I kind of get it that she didn't qualify. I still really like the song though.
Yeah, you have mentioned one good point, like about these Nordic elements. I would say, like throughout this heat, it was the only song with Nordic elements,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
rare because usually it has some like 2 or 3 songs within one heat. Also, there wasn't a Norwegian song at all in
I
this
think
heat.
she was one of the firsts, was like in Norwegian from
Was
Freya.
it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I
The
think
middle
the
eight, the middle eight,
bridge.
Yeah.
the bridge. Yeah.
Yeah, now I'm pretending that I've recognized that. Okay, so maybe gone to the comments again. Actually, a few people said that. It reminds me of Freya Sky from Junior Eurovision. Probably not the song, but the name sounds familiar, definitely. Yeah, so like having them as drummers. Wait, that was another comment. People on Reddit are saying some handsome topless man with like petrol head said in a song a few years ago.
I wonder which specific people are asking for topless men on the stage.
Well, Nicole does.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So before we go to the other ones, maybe let's go to this comment because it's very interesting. Ach nix, which sounds very German, says that it was the strongest semi-final for his opinion, and because 4 or 5 out of these songs would have qualified in his opinion, without Skrellex, by the way. I must say I disagree with that comment. I think the second semifinal was the strongest, maybe the first one because of the finalists, and the second one because of the overall package. I think that was the weakest heat.
Yeah, I
to be
agree.
fully
Yeah.
honest, and maybe also the most opened one.
I'll be
Tron?
the one that disagrees with you, because I think this is one of the. I'm not sure if it's necessarily the strongest in song quality, but this was the semifinal that I could see all the songs qualify to the final, and I think that all the songs would have been a fair qualifier.
Yeah.
Whereas in other semifinals, there were 1 or 2 songs sometimes that was like, no, please don't qualify. But in this semifinal, I would have been okay with any song qualifying, and that rarely happens in the semifinal. So I think that is why I think it's the strongest semifinal.
I see. Harry, was it your favorite heat of MGP so far?
So I'm with Twan. I think this is the most balanced heat we have.
Yeah.
Any of song quality wise, I think overall it's the best. However, it is also the only heat that I can't now, especially now knowing the qualifiers, it's the only heat I can't see the winner coming from. That's sort of.
Yeah.
I think I agree with everyone in a sense.
Yeah, so just a reminder, like we're gonna say our favorites of the final next week after discussing the heat. We have like 3 more songs to go. But first, Jana, was it your favorite heat of MGP?
For me, it was the weakest heat as well, like you said. I just couldn't connect with most of the songs. That was my problem. They were like just there. Some of them were nice, but I was like, okay, I'm probably not going to listen to them again. But that's just subjective. It's just my own opinion. We all have different tastes, so yeah.
Yeah, just saying like in terms of the song, it was the best, but the live performances were kind of a letdown. Okay. Yeah, so the next song we should talk about, it was actually one of my qualifiers, so I was kind of sad about it, was Akuvi with the song Triumph, who was the opener of the show. So, Harry, were you surprised about the non-qualification? By the way, one thing, Norway, you're so cool, like saying, Akuvi, you're not a qualifier, and then having a zoom on her face. It's so strange. It's so disrespectful, honestly. Get rid of that immediately, please. Even though it's hilarious somehow, but it's also very sad and naughty. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that.
I mean, hey, Eurovision do it with the low-scoring televotes. Like,
yeah, not
it's
a fan
part
of
of
that
Eurovision.
as well.
we can all relate after 2021.
Yeah, yeah. It just get some memes out of it. Hashtag John Ludwig.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit shady, yeah, but
yeah, it's very shady, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so Harry.
So, okay, people will talk about Maria as the big shock, but I genuinely, Akuvi is equally as shocking that didn't qualify for me. Like, I remember I got a couple of predictions from my friends as the show was going on, and neither of them said Akuvi. And I literally responded like, what are you talking about? Akuvi is definitely qualifying from this heat. And then, yeah, okay, I'm clearly not an expert in all things. In my opinion, Akuvi had a very complete package with her. It was fun, upbeat, loved the elements of fire. The backing dancers were good. I had a couple of nitpicks. I do think Akuvi's dance moves herself could have been bigger. It felt like at some point she was performing in like a box which had the area of like 1 centimeter. She could move a little bit more around the stage if she wanted to.
Centimeter.
Yeah, exactly. It was so condensed at times. But again, it was an element that could have improved for the final. There were certain structural elements even of this which reminded me of Chanel slow-mo, like the dance break, the long notes going into the final chorus, it all coming together. Performance-wise, I'm not saying this is as good as Chanel. Spanish fans, do not criticize me in the comments, please.
No, but it's like Chanel hasn't invented this structure of a song. I mean, I love her, but it's not an invention of Chanel, okay?
But at the end of the day, for me, song-wise, I think this is great as well. It's a very friendly pop, upbeat song, easy to connect to. And yeah, I was, as much as Maria's staging let me down, so which I can justify that maybe being the reason not to qualify. For me, Akuvi had more than enough to qualify for me.
Yeah, maybe just go to the comments. Judges is very sad about it because the performance was solid. I think it kind of reflects your comment as well. But the other three were strong too. And also, Merit says that she's disappointed about it, and she wanted to dance in the living room, and she can't do it next Saturday. Well, you can. You just open YouTube and then watch the semi-final performance. So, hey, I got you. Okay, Traden.
While agreeing that I think she had a magnificent performance and that I love her song a lot, and it still made me think of Kizunguzungu from Melody Festival a couple of years ago, by the way. But I really liked the song and her package was complete. I wasn't surprised she was a non-qualifier, especially because Ella didn't qualify last week. I wasn't surprised at all that Akuvi didn't qualify. And everyone was saying that she would qualify. And I did see a lot of people vote for her. Apparently not enough of people. So no, it wasn't a surprise for me. That doesn't take away that I'm sad, though, because I loved her performance.
Yeah, Jana?
I'm really mixed about this. I mean, I think her performance was really good, as Harry already said. The staging was cool. It reminded me of like ancient Egypt, even though I think she said she's from Ghana. So I think it's pretty cool that she also kind of included her roots into the song. Like you could tell. That was pretty cool, but I'm not sure about the song itself. It sounds a little bit dated, I think. Maybe it's just not really my thing, but I could not really connect to the song. It's not bad, though.
Here we go for Little John UK stage as well.
Yeah, get off the chat.
I agree. No, but I agree.
Hashtag copyright. No, so the first thing I wrote down was "Cool Me Down." You know where I come from? Like from Poland, 2016, 17? Was it 16 or 17? I don't know. From Margaret, 16. That was the first connotation I had, which is good. I love the song. It was a lot going on, I agree. Maybe a bit too much. But also on the other side, I fully agree with Harry. So I really noted that she is moving, but not moving. Somehow she managed that, which is a gift.
Yeah, I also wrote that down,
yeah, but it was kind of distracting. Like, well, if you want to move like a dance break, then actually dance. Like, move. Yeah, anyway. I'm a bit sad, but it's not too bad. I think the song was decent enough to qualify, but apparently it didn't.
Did you notice that she was using the same waltz as Jona did in last week? It was so funny.
Oh, yeah.
Did she?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Oh.
Well, that's just a requirement for the opening song of the Heat. That's the first one. Alessandro didn't get the
Yes.
memo.
Yeah, Nicole draws some comparison to Haba Haba from Stella Mongi from 2011. Maybe a big stretch. I don't know. I
It's
would
a little
say,
bit the same vibe, but
yeah,
song-wise, not really, in my opinion.
yeah. I think the comparison to who was it, like Elena from last year, from last week, is a good comparison.
I
Yeah,
compare it to a bit of like Rayleigh Wild was sort of my comparison when I first heard it from like
yeah,
2020, I think it was.
I think so.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Okay, so maybe let's go to the next song who didn't qualify. Unfortunately, it was Tiril with the song "Break It." Harry, were you surprised about that?
Yes, after seeing, I wasn't surprised. Sorry, after seeing the performance, I just realised the question. In terms of the song, I love the song. It's right up my street. However, when I saw the performance, something was missing. Look, Tiril, she's 21 years old. She's got a really bright future in music in Norway. I hope to see her back, to be perfectly honest. However, tonight there just was not enough going on the stage. It was too one-dimensional. And
Yeah.
I love the song, but there was nothing in the performance which shouted at the audience to go, votes for me, please. There was nothing there which stood out, especially between Akuvi and Skrellex. It almost in some ways felt too old for Tiril at times, with the dress and the red curtain behind her. Like, this is in some ways a very contemporary modern ballad. I think the staging should have reflected that a bit more and add a few more lighting, camera angles. You could have done a bit more with this. So from song quality wise, I'm gutted. This was one of my favorites, but after seeing the performance, I completely understand why this didn't qualify.
Yeah, so Eurovision Fantasia is saying that she was robbed.
Hi.
Greetings. So I guess you know.
Yes,
you know
we know them.
Okay, perfect. And just saying that the studio track was more promising, but the staging was not the best. I must say, like, it's like for me, I have seen the staging like 1,000 times already. It looked very familiar. So yeah, I agree with that. And also it was too monotone, I think, unfortunately. Chuan, were you sad about the qualification?
I love the song. I think it's one of the songs that pierces right through me. But I will agree with what Jana and Harry said, that the staging felt a little bit off, even though I loved her dress. But something was missing. Something wasn't really clicking in the staging. So while I am sad, well, I'm saying about every non-qualifier that I'm sad, but I love a lot of songs this heat.
The struggle is real.
But given the circumstances and the performance, I can see why she didn't qualify.
Yeah. Jana, what's your opinion?
I mean, Tuan, I haven't said anything yet, but
like, okay.
I kind of know what you.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I also felt that the stage was really empty. We only had this red thing in the back. I don't know, and she was also completely in red. There was so much red on stage. No, but honestly, there was lacking something. I needed one or two, maybe dancers, maybe a violinist or something. I don't know, some instruments maybe to make it a bit more classy, because it was a beautiful ballad. We had a really beautiful melody. Her voice is really pretty. So I expected a little bit more, and I understand that she didn't qualify.
Yeah, for me, the song was a bit too monotone, like a bit forgettable. I missed some kind of progression. It was nice to listen to it, but I pretty much forgot it. That was my issue, basically. And also, like, by the end of the song, she was a bit shaky, and you were able to hear that despite the autotune. So that was a bit, like, strange. Nicole agrees with me, like, the staging, there was something missing, and she was nervous about the high parts as well. So yeah, I wasn't that surprised, but honestly, I was surprised about pretty much everything which happened here. So maybe this is the only thing I was right about. Yes, at least something. Okay, maybe before we go to the predictions for like the final, what's gonna happen there? We have one more non-qualifier. The song is called "Someday" by Stig von Eijk, I think is the name.
STEFANIA. I think
Yeah.
it's kind of Dutch, yeah.
Yeah, Tran, go for it.
I will say this was my least favorite of the heat song-wise. I loved the staging. I think the staging was really cleverly done, and the message of the song is magnificent. I love that. The song was quite enjoyable for me live. It was very upbeat and very sunny, very summery. But the song isn't just really my kind of music, so that's why I was not a big fan of it.
I see. Harry.
So song-wise, I like this. However, it is that kind of sound which is fun to listen to. It's calm, enjoyable, but it's not very competitive. That's sort of the issue with it. However, with the staging, after seeing it, I did think it had a chance because the staging told a story. It was very dynamic, and Stig's a very good performer as well. Very seasoned, professional performer, and especially considering, obviously, he was a previous contestant, previous winner. I thought this could sneak in. To be honest, there was like 5 songs I thought could get in. Oddly, out of the 2 that I thought were definitely out, one of them made through. So again, not great with predictions.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, Eline Thorp was the one I thought was definitely out, but doesn't matter.
Same.
She's through. Yeah. With Stig, again, not for me. It was one of those where I wouldn't have been surprised either way. And sadly, it went the way of non-qualification.
Yeah. Okay. Jana.
Yeah, so during the show, we were like texting in the group, and I was like, oh my God, I had ready so much. This is going to be my last place. But I don't know. I mean, I still don't like the song. I actually really dislike the song. But I think the meaning is really important. We didn't talk about it at all. I think Twan mentioned it was a fun song. I have to disagree, actually. Like, the meaning was so serious, like about the world and peace and wars and freedom. I'm not happy about the kid in the beginning. I just don't like kids in songs. I mean, it's different about Junior Eurovision, but I mean, like in adult songs, kids' voices, I just don't like it. Yeah, but I think the performance was really good. We had like soldiers on stage and he behind the podium. That was like so serious and really impressive, I think. So I could also see this sneaking through. I mean, it didn't make it in the end, but it was something.
Yeah, what you said about the song meaning being really sad, I really agree about that. But I think he did a really good job in bringing it in a very light and not really fun, but the song is very uplifting way.
Okay, so people are kind of criticizing on the child, like it was a choice, but everything's a choice.
I was surprised it was allowed, honestly, because it's obviously not allowed in Eurovision.
Yeah,
but then again, autotune's also allowed in MGP, so obviously they don't care about the
Eurovision
rules.
Yeah, exactly. Who cares? Like, okay, it was kind of strange. Like for me, it didn't make sense. In terms of the genre, in terms of the vibe, everything was like, okay, I have this part of a song and then I put it all together. I don't know. But I agree with you that the staging was pretty cool. There was a lot going on. It told a story. So afterwards, you were like, you kind of get the feeling of what the song is all about. Reggae, not my genre, I must say, but I'm happy that it was in the heat because of the diversity. So the heat had a lot of different genres included, which is always nice. And I liked his outfit. Yellow is my favorite color, so he got me with that.
Same.
And I was a bit confused by the dancers, I must say, by the backing dancers. I don't know. At first, I was like, are they from the military or like safari employees? I don't know. It was so strange. Didn't like do it for me. Anyway, so I think we have discussed all of the qualifiers now. So maybe let's just mention the finalists and then give a short prediction before we wrap it up. Who's going to win MGP next week? So the qualifiers, or like the finalists, are Ulrike with the song Honesty, Alessandra with Queen of the Kings, Umami Tsunami with Geronimo. These were the ones from the first semifinal. Second semifinal, we've got Swing It with the song Prohibition, Joan with the song Echo in Mek, which is the only Norwegian song in the final, and Elsie Bay with the song Love You in a Dream. That was the second semifinal, and the third one won today were Skrellex with Love Again, Eline Thorp with Not Meant to Be, and Atle Pettersen with Masterpiece. So, give me one, maybe 2 names. Who's going to win MGP next week? Yeah,
I'll start it off.
Please.
Ulrike and Alessandra. And Jonah. I don't know.
Okay, you didn't understand the rules of this game. That's fine though.
I cheated.
Yeah, as always.
One of
surprise.
the three. I'm quite sure that either Alessandra, Ulrike, or Jona is gonna win.
Okay, Harry.
Yeah, to be fair, I understand where Twan's coming from. It is a quite strong final, but I'll give you two names. So I've got Eureka or Eureka. So I love many songs in this final, but there's something so special about Honestly for me, and for me it has to win. It has to win. Give Ulrika that moment. She needs to go to Eurovision and do it with this song.
Yeah, keep in mind that she was the winner of MGP 2020, but then a virus came on, so she wasn't at Eurovision so far. Jana, what's your prediction? Or
I
like your
don't
favorite?
think Ulrike is gonna win. I think Attention was so much better than Honestly. I'm sorry, Harry.
You need to put off the headphones. It's not working like that.
No, I think Alessandra has it. I was hoping for Jona, but I think his semi-performance just wasn't strong enough. So I don't really think he's gonna win. Maybe Elsie, she also has chances. So I don't know. I think Alessandra.
Okay.
Yeah. This feels like such an easy national final to predict, but at the same time, such a hard national final to predict.
Yeah.
Because it seems so obvious that Ulrike is winning that it's not obvious at all.
It's like Kaino, isn't it? It's like Kaino in 2020.
Like, to be fair, even at this point, even Skrellex or Swing It could win.
Nah.
Juries, Twan, juries.
Yeah.
Gotta remember that.
Yeah. Okay. So it's hard to predict. Like for me, like I know that I would say maybe like Alessandra and Ulrika are considered as the big favorites. At least that's my impression from the fan bubble and also from the betting odds and stuff. I don't see Alessandra as the big favorite. I don't know. There's something missing about me, for me. Ulrike would be the obvious choice, I think, but it's MGP, and usually the fan favorites don't win, or like the favorite at all. But I must say, like, she's probably the best vocalist. Her song is very good. It's pretty epic. It has a very nice progression. It is a jury pleaser. I'm pretty sure the jury's gonna love this. And even though I know that Alessandra has like the biggest streaming numbers and stuff, but still that doesn't mean that much. I mean, in the end, you need voters, and I think Ulrike has a bigger shot. But I want to say the name Elsie Bay as well. Even though Death of Us was better, in my opinion, I loved the performance from last week. It really touched me, and I love her voice. And I think if she improves the performance, because she was a bit shaky last time, I think she has a shot as well. So Elsie Bay or Ulrike for me. Maybe go to the comments, because I've seen a lot of names here. Alice says that Elsie should have won last year. And the Wolves were at the bottom. I know someone who agrees with you, who is in this live chat. Harry. Okay.
I liked it by the end.
By the end, here we go.
Yeah, it took a while.
So just saying that Alessandra and Ulrike are the favorites to win. Merit is also for Ulrike. And also, like, it's always nice to see people from 2020 back, because they need their moment, especially if they haven't returned for 2021.
That shouldn't be the reason, though. I mean, the song has to be good. Doesn't matter.
And I must say, if I compare it, Attention is my favorite out of the two.
Yeah.
And I've heard a few comments that they agree with me on that. Yeah.
Even though that I prefer Honestly, I'm sure that in the odd case that Ulrike is not gonna win, that she will get her chance to go to Eurovision in the near future.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
For sure. Whether it be this year or in the next 5-10 years.
Yes.
Eurovision Fantasia saying like Ulrika or Atle. Alessandra, Elsie or Ulrike from ESC Manga. Lucia is saying Alessandra. So you can kind of see like Alessandra and Ulrike are probably the most mentioned ones. This is the first one who's saying Skrellex. Would be surprising, but it's Eurovision, you never know. And first time I see Geronimo.
I like Geronimo.
I don't see it as a winner, But I
No.
don't think they're gonna be like in the bottom. Maybe like a fourth or
Mm-mm.
fifth place finish, maybe something like that.
I agree.
It's also going to be very interesting to see how the jury will influence the results this year. Because
Yes.
last couple of years we had MGP, we had full online voting.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how this will come out.
Yeah, exactly. But one thing's for sure, it's going to be a very nice and exciting, suspenseful evening next week. So, is there anything else you want to mention? Because otherwise, I would wrap it up. Was anything? No? Yes? Maybe?
Who's your personal winner?
The
I think we
personal
didn't
winner.
talk about that.
winner.
Yeah.
True. For me, it's Elsie. Easy.
Tuan.
Harry, should we say it at the same time?
Yeah, 3, 2, 1.
Ulrika.
Ulrika!
Yeah, same.
I was just like, swing it. Okay. And Diana.
Alessandra.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
But honestly,
Diana-
I have to give special credit to Alessandra and Elsie because like I genuinely have a hard time
Jona.
choosing a
Oh my
winner.
So in
I'm
the end, we
getting
are
into that
mentioning
song
pretty
more and
much
more
every
as
act
well.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to prevent, but yeah. I
It's
think-
a strong national final, we can say
Very
that.
strong.
I
very
think we
strong.
can agree on that. Okay, so Jana, Harry, Tuan, it was such a pleasure to talk to you, and yeah, see you again next week.
Bye bye.
Bye.